Rudy Giuliani and Matt Gaetz are both in huge trouble. That's not a surprise if you've been watching me over the last few days. But there's some new information that shows that each of those men's scandals may be more connected than we previously thought. Take a look at this clip
that you had on. And I want to be very clear to you and to your audience about this. One of the things that you're talking about is, of course, Marie Yovanovitch and Ukraine. That is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what they're looking for when it comes to Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump, and so on. And the fact that the FBI now has his cell phones, they have his computer and other information, you could rest assured that that's not specifically that's not the only thing that they're looking for. Maybe they're going to find information that ties him to Matt Gaetz and Joel Greenberg and the requests for pardons. Maybe you're going to find communications with him and Jared Kushner regarding other people that were doing the pay-for-play pardons. I mean, maybe you're going to find that there's information with Rudy Giuliani, Bill Barr regarding the unconstitutional remand of me back to prison. You don't know what you're going to find because one thing, and Rudy stated it himself, so we'll see if it's true, that there are no deleted messages. He doesn't have these encrypted apps. We're going to find that all out because the information is all sitting on his handheld devices. And if it's not the handheld device, it's on his computer and his iCloud, which, like with me, they had a subpoena for, and they already knew what Rudy was sending out. They already knew what Rudy was receiving.
And so that's Michael Cohen, a former Trump lawyer who knows both Matt Gaetz and especially Rudy Giuliani fairly well. They all traveled in the same Trumpian circles. And what he's saying is that they got all of Rudy Giuliani's electronic information. They got his computer and his phone and everything else. And if Rudy is telling the truth, and I know that's somewhat of a big if, and he didn't delete anything, they might find tons of information in there. Not simply the direct information related to Rudy Giuliani and the things he's being investigated on, but also stuff related to Matt Gaetz. And so what we talked about last night on the channel, which is that Joel Greenberg, Matt Gaetz' friend and accomplice, basically confessed to awful things that he did alongside Matt Gaetz to Roger Stone, another Trump loyalist, and that there was an attempt to buy a pardon, Greenberg to buy a pardon from Roger Stone for $250,000, that all of that information may also be in Rudy's possession. And you might say, okay, Michael Cohen obviously has an anti-Trump bias. He does a lot of media. He's been doing a lot of it in the last year, especially trying to take Donald Trump down. But that Daily Beast report I covered last night gives us a hint that there might actually be some meat here. This is a good distillation of it. This tweet says, one juicy nugget from the Roger Stone and Joel Greenberg texts involving Matt Gaetz. Roger Stone specifically mentions that the pardon Greenberg is trying to buy for $250K needs to be discussed with quote-unquote Jared and Rudy. Jared Kushner and Rudy Giuliani are implicated here, and I think that's the correct interpretation. What we're seeing, in essence, is the merger of the Greenberg Gaetz story and the Giuliani story. Now, Giuliani's formal investigation deals more with Ukraine, but if it really does come down to it, what you're seeing is all of these Trump people were effectively trying to sell and buy and trade and connect pardons for hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more. And so, Joel Greenberg, who did awful things to that minor with Matt Gaetz, then went to Roger Stone with $250,000 and said, buy me a pardon. And then he said, I'll see what I can do, but I gotta go to Jared Kushner and Rudy Giuliani first. Now they are all connected. In essence, Rudy Giuliani is connected to Gaetz and Greenberg trying to buy their way out of a severe crime that they did to somebody who wasn't 18. And so whether or not this all connects in a court of law, that's a bigger, harder question that lawyers are going to have to answer. But now morally, we know the truth, that all of these Trump scumbags were trying to bail each other out with money to cover up awful things they did, whether it was blackmailing Ukrainian officials or whether it was doing awful things to children.